I know what you're thinking. Do we need another white woman holding a microphone? I'll let you shout the answer at the screen.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Correct. The answer is no, we do not, but here I am. But don't worry, I just want to talk about everything that I like. So I should probably start with an introduction, shouldn't I? Because that's the social norm. Hi, my name is Gigsy. I'm an independent musician, and to be honest, I've been wanting to do this isn't quite a podcast. I don't know what this is, but I've been wanting to do like a sit down, drink coffee with me and chat. Typical white women stuff vibe. For a little while. And the only reason I didn't is purely because I get so caught up in my head and so anxious about doing things like this that I was like, no one will care. No one will watch this. And do you know what? I've come to the conclusion that's fine, because I think this is more for me and to be able to get the thoughts that that consume my brain, exhibit A and exhibit B, and get them out into the open, because otherwise, I'm not gonna lie, I do go a little bit stark mad. But yeah, so I basically just wanted to do something like this for a while and just talk about things that I enjoy and am passionate about. And I think I've been struggling for the past 2 years. I did have a stint on TikTok where I was doing relatively okay with, I felt like I was connecting with people, but it didn't fit. It was just me doing ranking videos of my favorite albums and stuff, and that's all good and well, but there's not room for personality. And also, I have a lot of it which I don't feel shows on social media, and I really struggle with trying to do that type of stuff. But anyway, I just was singing along to Chappell Roan, and I was like, I want to talk about Chappell Roan for a bit, because I listened to her album the other week, and I'm going to be quite honest, I did not get it. I got it, but I didn't get it at first. I was like, yeah, this is really cool. Musically, it is so good. I just feel like, it's not really my cup of tea. I use those words a lot. And then every time I'm like, it's not my cup of tea, it ends up becoming my cup of tea. So I don't really know what that says about me. But yeah, so I have been listening to her non-stop. And Good Luck Babe, Good Luck Babe specifically, because I don't know, there's just something so addictive to it. And I think it's her voice, the 80s synth, that's kind of I don't know, the way I described her in my head was she's kind of like Mitski, Taylor Swift, Lana Del Rey, Marina, Kate Bush. She's all these different musicians into one that is already packaged, because she had time to master her craft and understand. She's been doing this for 10 years, and as an independent musician who's also been doing this for about 10 years, it's so warming to see another artist that has got somewhere and then been pushed back and then blah 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 and succeed and have success in what they want to do. I can't talk and drink at the same time. This is really hard. But her aesthetic as well is so that's what drew me to her initially, was the aesthetic, because I was like, this is so interesting. She even says herself, it's drag and it's camp, and I've always been drawn to that. I literally discovered Lady Gaga when I was about 8 or 9, was singing Love Game and disco about disco sticks at that age, and I still remember my mum pulling me aside. I don't know if she'll remember, but I remember my mum pulling me aside after I'd sung Love Game in the kitchen, and she was like, do you know what this song's about? Just sat there yeah, loving games. No, I didn't. And to be honest, I didn't know for probably the next 5 years. I just thought a disco stick was, well, she has a disco stick. I was like, I don't understand. What else could a disco stick be? I think that basically sums me up. maybe I should have another little anecdote here. So I went through a period like last year or the year before where I had 5 full bags of hash browns in my freezer because that's all I would eat for lunch. It went on for months. Everyone was like, you need to calm down. And I was like, you don't understand. Hash browns and ketchup, you just don't get it. You just don't get it. I need to eat this. Otherwise, I might die. Yeah, I think that gives you an idea into what kind of mind I have. Anyway, back to Chappell Roan. But yeah, and I think she really does have something special. I saw a tweet that was like, this is who you think is the next like big star, like, you know, from one of those stan accounts that, you know, just isn't happy unless they're hating on something. And I was like, at first I was like, from the clip, a bit, you know, I was like, oh, I kind of see what they mean, like, but it was like a 10-second clip out of a whole show. And then I went and watched the whole performance after listening to the album, and I was like, no, the original tweet was right. This is a star, just not in the way you are used to. Even with, and you know, people always like to throw out the argument of, well, Madonna, Lady Gaga, Katy Perry, they've been doing camp for years. And it's like, yeah, but it's a different brand of camp. To me, Art Pop and the Fame have been Lady Gaga's most camp, traditionally camp aesthetic. To me, personally, everyone is different, obviously. But to me, those two are quintessentially camp. And it's because the Fame was her kind of doing an act. You know, she said, the Fame, you have to like fake it until you make it. So it was her like pretending to be this elite socialite and doing all this stuff, when in reality it was all kind of like her. I guess it would be now called manifesting. I would assume. I don't know. I kind of stay off of that TikTok side because otherwise it will give me anxiety. It's the ones I watched the Brittany Broski podcast that also inspired me to do this, because I just love her, and I love her podcast. There's no format. She just chats. She yaps. And I eat it up every time. I cry laughing. I have never watched another person on video and ended up crying laughing. And I feel like I'm in the room with her. We're besties. Parasocial relationship who? Like, that is... we're besties. She just doesn't know it. I can't remember what I'd even said. What did I just say? Oh my god, that's so embarrassing. I can't remember what I just said. I know it was a good point as well. I'm sure it'll come back to me. See, this is... I was like, yeah, I want to do like this type of format because I want people to feel like they know me, because for the past like 2 years, I think I've struggled as a artist, like independent artist, where I don't have a team, it's just me. And I think I've struggled with trying to come up with how to do that through just photos and short TikToks and things like that, and it gets exhausting. So I just felt like this was a bit, you know, I want people to see, and I know people like listening, so you don't even have to watch me, which actually is preferable. Don't look at this video, don't watch me. Makes me very uncomfortable. It's funny because there's a juxtaposition I find with me. I feel like a contradiction all the time. I am an introverted extrovert. I love attention. I hate attention. By attention, I don't mean, oh, I love everyone to be looking at me, only talking to me, talk about me. That's not what I mean. I mean, in terms of when I'm on stage and, you know, I'm doing what I love, it's different. I want people to see that because I think it's kind of like me showing, like, this is me. You know, this is what I love doing and it feels personal. But at the same time, as soon as I get off that stage, please don't look at me. I'm now invisible. I'm not, you know, I can't remember if I've introduced myself in this. I think I did. Genuinely, you are getting like a look into my psyche, into my everyday issues, forgetting everything every 5 seconds and going on tangents. But the only reason I'm kind of psyched myself up to do this was because I woke up and I was like, I haven't spoken to anyone properly in like 24 hours and I have a lot of thoughts in my head. I wrote notes on my phone, which was a dumb idea because I'm using my phone to record. So that's how this is going. But anyway, Chappell Roan, I think there's something really special about her. And it's so nice to hear, like, openly, like, we have artists who are openly queer and, have written songs regarding their queerness and their sexuality. But at the same time, I have never, like, listened to a song that's been, that could be me, that I could be just really, really sheltered and unaware. But she's the first artist that I've been exposed to that has, like, openly just said it how it is, like directly said. I mean, the lyrics for Casual, I'm not going to repeat it because I don't want my mum to see this. I don't want my parents to see this, even though I'm 25 years old. I mean, the lyrics for the chorus of Casual, just look them up. And I've never ever heard something like that, but it's sung so beautifully, and I was like, wow, you've got to be like a master like artist and have great penmanship to be able to pull that off, and melodies, and so good. But I've been watching a lot of like interviews and like podcasts and reactions to her stuff, and there was a specific reaction video that I absolutely adored. I can't remember the channel name. I think it's like something Hayes. Oh, he's so good. I like subscribe to him because the energy he brings. I was like, no, this is what we need. Show me. I want to see you flipping out and dancing, and like actually digesting the music how it's supposed to be. But yeah, I think she is so talented, and I think I'm so gutted. I like found her, like, as I said last week, and in this week have become like obsessed. And I went to look for her tour, and she's doing London, but they're both sold out, and I was like, oh no, damn. But it's okay. I'm over it. This coffee is getting cold. Also, I love this mug. So I have two mugs that I alternate between, which is this one and another one that's like a thinner one, and it's got, I think it's like, oh, I'm not a morning person, or like something cheesy on it that I don't know. It's the shape of the mug, okay? It's the shape of the mug. I love it. Another thing that's been consuming my mind, genuinely, for the past like, it's over a year now. I think it's actually a sickness. It's actually got to a point where I think I should probably be locked behind bars. And as Brittany Brosey would say, I would be gnawing at the bars of my enclosure. Do you know what's really funny? So I have this weird thing that I've only recently kind of like realized. I don't like seeing actors out of their characters. It's more specifically to characters that I am probably a little bit unhealthily obsessed with. Like I saw a clip of Tom Hiddleston, and I genuinely got the ick. And it's nothing against him. I love Tom Hiddleston, but I was like, it made me panicky. I sat there and was like, because I was like, that's not Loki. And I'm like, at what point does it become probably that point, right? But yeah, for the past year I have been knee deep in like the Loki sphere. Re-downloaded Tumblr, made a secret stan TikTok account. I think the thing is, I just have always been, he is, that character is what got me into Marvel. And no, it wasn't because he's fit, okay, but he is. But I remember watching the Avengers and being like, okay, I'm really curious, because they're referring, because I didn't watch any of the films in order. My first Marvel film was the Avengers. And I remember watching the scene with him and Natasha, and she like, slay queen. And I was just like, who is this man? Like, why are they beefing? 13-year-old me was like, I don't understand what's going on. So then I went and watched Thor 1, and his story. People don't understand. I think it's probably very common in neurodiverse people to relate to his character, because he's, oh my god, this is so nerdy. I love it. But he is portrayed obviously as the outsider, the one that, he is different. And I think a lot of people subconsciously related to his character, and then after that just fell in love with like his whole thing, his whole shtick. You know? Slay, bestie. Slay, fake your death. Which, by the way, was traumatizing. Spoiler alert if you haven't watched the film, even though it's been out like 10 years. Dark World. Oh my God, I went and saw that in cinema 5 times. 5 times. And the first time I went and saw it, I went with my friends. And I was like, I'm so excited. And halfway through the film, they kill him off. You don't understand. This is probably one of the most embarrassing moments of my life. But at the time, I was too consumed by my grief. When they killed him off, I genuinely sat there. The whole cinema was quiet, and I shouted no. Like, I screamed it and started sobbing. People were laughing. I just remember people were chuckling, and I was like, "It's not funny. This is traumatizing. Why are you laughing? Man's dead. Man's on the floor. He's saying goodbye. Have some respect." It's so stupid. I kid you not, for the rest of the film, I could not stop crying. So yeah, I cried for the rest of the film. And when his little ass popped up at the end on the throne, like, no, thank you. Fuck you, man. Do you understand the trauma I just went through? I was literally in Thor's shoes. Like, I am experiencing grief right now. And then he just pops up at the end and he's like, "Hi, besties. Surprise, thought you'd seen the last of me." The walk home was... I think I went mute. I don't remember anything that happened after that except for my jaw dropping and me being like, I cried. I made a scene. I made a scene, and for what? And then I thought, do you know what? No, I need to see this 4 more times. And every time, even though I knew it was coming, I cried. I knew what happened. I knew he lives. Oh, I feel like there's a lot to unpack there with a therapist. This was supposed to be about music, and now I've gone off. See, this is why I wanted to do this, because I sometimes feel like, you know, I think a lot of people do, that you have interests and you have things that you're so passionate about that, you know, you feel like you can't really talk about all the time, because otherwise people would think you're kind of like chronically insane. And yeah, I am. But, you know, this is kind of like a place where I'm just going to put it out there. And if people enjoy, then people enjoy. And if not, then that's fine. I'll just, that's fine. But yeah, and then Ragnarok is my favorite. I'm not to be one of those bitches, but Ragnarok is my favorite Thor film. Thor is my favorite like trilogy in the Marvel. We don't talk about Love and Thunder.
A few moments later.
I was so disappointed. I genuinely was like, oh, not to be that person on Twitter, but Marvel is dead. It's done. And then, the Loki series. Ragnarok Loki has a special place in my heart, but TVA Loki owns it. You kidding me? That man in a suit. My boyfriend's like, my boyfriend said to me, "I feel like you're cheating on me." Bestie, you don't understand. Me and this man have been on a journey. It gets to the point, it used to get to the point where I'd go to the toilet and I'd be like, what if he's in my walls? And do you know, I want to thank Brittany Broski for letting me be unhinged on the internet today. I got bullied for being a Doctor Who fan. I got bullied for liking Marvel. I got bullied for being, you know, weird and nerdy. Yeah, I used to get bullied in school for liking these things. And, you know, I think it's amazing in a time now where, you know, it's normal to sit and watch edits on CapCut. I mean, I wouldn't do it with anyone in the room because those edits can get wild, man. Oh, Heartbreak High. I also want to talk about that. I'll get there. Bear with me. I think sexy edits are okay. I just think there's a certain point where it gets a little bit weird. But yeah, I want to thank Brittany Broski for letting me be unhinged on the internet and not being worried about, you know, having to be like, oh, I can't talk about that because, bitch, I'm in a room on my own. I can talk about what I want. Okay. Heartbreak High. So I binged Heartbreak High. I saw a clip of it on TikTok, and it was regarding Quinny's character, and she is one of the first accurately person to be represented in media with autism. I think that sentence makes sense. You get what I'm saying. And I saw the clip, and it was the scene of her and Sasha in a restaurant on a date. And basically the whole setting was that she couldn't concentrate on anything that Sasha was saying because the restaurant was so loud and busy. And she kept zoning out, looking at things, feeling overwhelmed, and like just not being able to concentrate. And I saw it and I was like, yes, that's exactly what it feels like and looks like. I mean, shopping centres, Primark is a nightmare. But nowadays, when I go into Primark, I can probably stand about 5 minutes before I just give up and I'm like, I can't do this and I have to leave because otherwise I'm going to hit that screaming child. That was a joke. Obviously, I'm not going to hit a crying child. I'm not a monster. Sometimes it's difficult. It's hard to concentrate. There's people in the way. I don't think know how to say excuse me anymore, which really upsets me as well. They'll bump into you, stand really close that you're breathing on me. Can you please just wait for me to look and move? Like, I'll wait behind someone, not right behind them, but I'll wait like a few feet back. If someone's looking at something I want to look at, I just stand there and wait politely. And I always thought that was normal, but apparently not. Apparently I'm meant to go in there and fucking rugby tackle them to the floor so that I can see what they're looking at. But yeah, Primark, hate it. Awful. I mean, boo child labour and shitty wages, but also boo their LED lights. I don't know how I got onto that. Oh, Heartbreak High. I binged the whole 2 seasons for her character. And and the fact they've actually got, you know, the actress is diagnosed with autism and had a lot of input into the character and how to write the stories for her. It's great because I think 9 times out of 10 autistic characters or characters who are autistic coded aren't consulted by someone who has a diagnosis or understands what autism really is, because people always assume, I did it growing up, I was like, oh yeah, Sherlock Holmes, autism. No, bestie. It's different to everyone. It represents differently in everyone. And also, I watched a really good video. I can't remember who it was by. I do this all the time. I watch videos and I'm like, that was really good. And then I never remember who it was by. But there's a creator discussing like representation of autism in media. And I found it really interesting. And she went through like all the different types of like archetypes, I suppose, of like the social and media standard of how it's portrayed. But yeah, and Heartbreak High does it really well. Honestly, I enjoyed, like, the show as a whole is so good. Like, season 1 is so good and it's so chaotic. Like, it is really chaotic and unhinged, but I think I really enjoy it. And I think Australian humour is quite close to British humour, so I enjoyed that. But yeah, each character has their own little story and it's really interesting. It reminds me of Sex Education, but I think I actually prefer Heartbreak High. Scandal. What else do I want to talk about? I'm just taking a little break. I nearly put my microphone in my mouth thinking it was my face. Oh, the amount of times I've done that with something. oh. Chaos. Has anyone ever put their phone in the fridge, or is that a me thing? Oh, I also want to talk about, I think just in general, looping back around to how I feel social media and the pressures of social media when you are an independent artist, you've not got a team, you are there to craft your own posts and all that kind of stuff. And I think it's been really, I made a post about it the other day and I said something along the lines of, the independent music industry and the music industry in general at the moment feels very what was the word? Oh, it's such a good word. Such a good word. Now I've forgotten it. It was so good I forgot it. Stagnant. That's it. It feels very stagnant, and I don't know why. There's people that have, bands and artists have taken a step back, quitting after doing this for so long independently or as like with a small record label and things like that. And I think it all comes down to money, mental health, social media working against us. With Instagram's change of algorithm, I feel like I'm completely I genuinely keep saying I feel like I'm an 80-year-old trying to work social media, especially Instagram. I don't know how to do things anymore. I took a break for some time from social media. Like, I wasn't making it. I went through quite a rough period during, was it last year or the year before? Or both, probably both. But there was a stint where I ended up being in hospital, which I now realise I think was a burnout, just severe. Because I was constantly doing content. I was constantly overworking myself to post on TikTok, to post on Instagram and try and get people, hyped for my music. And then I took a break for a good year, basically. I've just not been able to get back into it since. Like, even now, when I'm trying to create a post, I just feel like I'm talking to nobody. And I think it's because I was away for so long. The algorithm changed. People weren't seeing my posts as much. I had a look. And basically, it's now like people you interact with most. And then there's a list. And it's those same people they'll show in your feed. And it's like, that's all good and well. But what about people that, maybe you haven't seen for a long time? And like, my memory is awful. So if you don't show me that person that I have forgot exists, I'm going to miss out on their content, which is such a shame because I would follow them for a reason. I don't know. It's just really, really difficult at the moment. And I did consider quitting. I had a moment the other week and I was just like, I don't think I can do this anymore. I just put out a song. I've been doing this on my own for 10 years. And I just feel like I keep taking, 2 steps forward and 2 steps. And it's a constant like back and forth, back and forth. And I was like, I love what I do. I love making music. But at the same time, I don't know how much longer I can keep this up. And feel like I'm not forcing it. I know what I mean. And that's not me saying that, me making music, I'm forcing it. I don't care about it. That's not it at all. I just mean with the way everything is, it feels like I'm having to constantly put something out. And I've always been that way. I'm very much someone who is constantly creating in some form. And I consistently since 2022, when I like rebranded to Gigsy and changed my music, like just changed the brand and everything. I hate talking about it like that, the brand. But yeah, I just feel it's very, very difficult. And I don't have the money to do what I wish I could do. So in my head, I was like, oh, well, if I can't do it, then I can't do it. And perhaps I should just hang up the hat. I don't know if that's the right idiom, but you know what I mean. But then you hear stories like Chappell Roan. And I was like, oh, I mean, how likely is that to happen to me? Probably not very likely. But still, like, you do get that bit of hope where you're like, wow, she managed to do it. She managed to do it after 10 years, after, going through the same thing. So I don't know. It's a weird time for music and independent music. But for now, I'm definitely continuing on. I, told myself to pull my socks up and stop being a baby about it. Stop crying about it. So yeah, I'm going to keep doing it for the time being. And I just, I've got the EP coming out on the 4th of June. So I hope that people enjoy it. Anyway, I want to talk about my top 3 to 5 songs of the week. I don't know how long the list will be. Whatever my brain conjures up. So as I said earlier, I think Good Luck Babe by Chappell Roan is definitely up there. That song is so addictive. I need it injected into my veins right now. Song number 2, Backslide by 21 Pilots. I love the vibe. What was I saying? Backslide by 21 Pilots. Such a good song. I really really enjoy their instrumentation and production, and Josh's drumming. Like, so good. And I really love the second verse. The flow on that is, in my opinion, as a white woman, really good. I'm really excited for their next album. I genuinely think that Clancy could be their magnum opus. So another song that I like. Club Classics by Charlie XCX. Really like that one at the moment. Everyone prefers B2B, and I like B2B, but I don't know, there's something about Club Classics. I think it's because it's like a bit more interesting to listen to. It doesn't feel as repetitive, and that's fine. I mean, it's pop dance music. It's going to be repetitive. That's the vibe. Oh, Some Type of Skin by Aurora. I've been listening to that as well non-stop. I love Aurora so much. I saw her like a few years ago in Oxford at the O2 Academy and met her afterwards. She's exactly how you'd think. Like, she's just so, I don't know, she's so lovely. Yeah, Some Type of Skin, love it. The chorus, the vocals. Aurora never fails to kind of like enchant me. What else? I don't know. I don't know if this is gonna go out. I don't know if I'll do this again. I want to do it again. I quite enjoyed this. Maybe I should just do it when I've got like the house to myself and just like yap to myself. But I feel so much better. I feel so much better having got it all out. Oh, the brain is saying talk about the misogyny against Sylvie and Loki, and I'm like, no, another time, bestie. One problem at a time. So yeah, as I said, I've got an EP coming out on the 4th of June. It's called In the Ether. Chapters 1 to 5, and it is a mix of genres, and there's one single out already, I Want Glory But I Got Gore. Bop. And no, that's not biased. Bop. Thank you if you have watched it all the way through. Maybe are you okay? If you've watched this all the way through, are you okay? No, thank you for watching, and yeah, I'll see you on the flip side, I suppose. Anyway, bye!